Hello, everyone, and welcome to Overcomers Connects. I'm your host, Abi Ambek, a registered social worker and psychotherapist. And today we are diving into a tender and deeply sensitive conversation that many families avoid but desperately need to have. The title of today's episode is Why Children Go Silent. Disconstructing the myth. So today we are going to try to, go into disconstructing the myth of why children go silent. So this one is for mothers who lay awake at night, wondering where they went wrong. And for the fathers who haven't heard from their grown children in years. And for the adult children who had to choose distance, not out of hatred, but out of survival. Fellows, this is not an easy conversation, but we are having it today. Because truth and healing go hand in hand. So people, let's get started. When adult children go silent, the assumption begins like, oh my God, they are so ungrateful. They've been brainwashed by therapy or social media. They just don't want to forgive. They are so self-centered. They feel so entitled after everything I've done for them. They forgot who raised them. They forgot all the sacrifices I had to make to raise them. Now all of a sudden, they just suddenly abandoned me. The list go on and on. But people, here's the truth. Silence is often not rebellion. It's more of protection, okay? Sometimes silence is the only boundary they know how to set with the type of parents they live with or the type of parents who raise them. Estrangement is rarely impulsive, okay? It is usually the outcome of many unmet conversations, many of minimized pain and unresolved history. It's not about blame, people. It's about unmet repair. So let's explore a few of the most common myths around estrangements and then gently pull them apart, okay? So myth one, we gave them everything. Parents, provision does not cancel pain. You can give your child food, shelter, education, and they can still feel emotionally abandoned. They can still feel emotionally unseen or silence. Okay? So when you say you gave them everything, you have to look into other components of it and what that everything means. And then, children need more survival. Children need more than survival, They need atonement. They need safety. They need validation. They need you to care about how they feel, not just what you've done for them or how you keep reminding them of it every now and then. Okay? So now, myth two, when parents say, therapy turned them against us. Parents, therapy didn't create the rapture. It likely gave them the language for the wound. Okay? It helped them make sense of confusion, and start defining what safety really looks like. As a therapist myself, I can tell you that most clients still long for connection with their family, with their parents. But they also want truth. They also want accountability and mutual respect. Okay? And now make 3. What parents usually think or what they say. Oh, they just want to avoid conflicts. People, sometimes the conflict was never safe to begin with. They may have tried talking in the past only to be gaslighted, only to be ignored, only to be shamed, silent, unvalidated, or even punished. Without you even realizing all this, that you are causing harm. So when they are not heard, they totally stop speaking. Not out of disrespect for their parents, but as an act of emotional self-preservation. Okay? So let's explore what silence often means in all this. Okay? Some of the reasons why adult children they go silent, or some of the reasons they cite too on their own, is emotional neglect. Emotional neglect marks improvision, the lack of apology or accountability from parents. Over control, homophobia, religious judgments, or cultural rigidity, and not putting into consideration their feelings or the era that we are in now. Okay? Another thing adult children complain of is having unprocessed trauma or abuse, or feeling unsafe to express their adult identity. Because most culture, there are certain things that is welcome, there are certain things that is tolerated. Okay? And then you hear things like, I don't feel emotionally safe in this relationship with my parents. I have tried before on several occasions to speak to them, but I wasn't heard. I am healing, and the relationship keeps reopening the wound. I still have love for my parents, but I don't know how to come back without being myself, without losing myself. After all this, I do think when parents begin to see silence not as punishment, but as pain to their children, then the whole conversation will change. Okay? Look, let me say something important here, fellows. Most estranged children are not celebrating their distance from their parents. No, they are not. They grieve it even more than you can even imagine or fathom. They wonder every birthday or holiday if things could be different. They go through cycles of guilt, anger, sadness, and longing to be with their family too. But they are also just trying to protect their own growth, their own identity, and emotional clarity. Fellows, for many estranged children, silence is not always a rebellion or a decision made against the parents, but for their own healing, for feeling unheld, controlled, and emotionally neglected or chronically invalidated. Therefore, silence just becomes their boundary and a last resort. That is also one of the problems or causes of estrangement. People, estrangement is complex, as you all know. There's rarely one villain and one victim. Oh, yes. Some children, they walk away without explanation. Yes, some wounds are hard to understand from the outside. But many adult children carry years of emotional labor silently before they finally step away. They've internalized it for long before the outburst. Again, fellas, this is not about taking sides. It's not about seeing it's not about taking side, like I said. It is about seeing both sides with compassion, with empathy. It's about interrupting generational pain and not punishing it, people. It's about naming what hurts and not denying the love that still lingers underneath it all. So as we close this episode, people, I want to leave you with this. Reconnection does not begin with defense. No, it begins with understanding. Okay? Understanding that healing is not betrayal. That silence is not always cruelty. That sometimes the space was needed to survive, to recapacitate, to see things differently. Okay? So if you are a parent feeling heartbroken, your pain is real. And if you are an adult child navigating guilt and grief, your decision is valid. I hear you. This podcast space exists to hold both truth, both sides of the story. Okay? In our next episode, we'll explore the parents' pain and what they wish their children understood in all this. So until then, be kind to yourself. Stay open and remember, love that is real can still be relearned. Thank you all for being here with me today. Be kind to yourself and be kind to others. Stay strong and stay free.